This is just acetone, and that's the dye stains from Sherwood, so the dye stains concentrate. It's a red and a yellow, and basically it's mostly yellow with just a touch of red, just to keep it from going too bright. This is really when I could use Bruce Slatch in my shop. He would have this toned up no problem. I don't basically, when it comes to toning projects, I don't have the raw materials to do it with. I might have something cobbled together to kind of get me by, but really nothing that will actually give me my finished end results. That's why I always rely on someone else to color matches for me. However, when I got this color match back, it definitely was not right. So I'm going to put a coat of clear on the back. I'm actually going to be doing self-seal on this. The reason I'm doing self-seal, I'm after a little bit more of a gloss. The door I got to replace actually is a little bit higher than normal, so 2 coats of the Hi-Bild Precat will bring me a little bit higher gloss. So I'll let this dry for a few minutes. I'm going to come back and put a first coat of the Hi-Bild clear on it. Okay, so we're back in the shop this morning. I'm going to give this door a scuffing on the front and back. I'm going to try 2 different medias here. This one is the Indasa Rhino Soft 320, and this is the Festool Granat 320. I used to use the Indasa Rhino Soft for almost everything for the last several years. Actually talking to a friend of mine who's a painting contractor, he started using the Festool Granat and said to give it a shot as well. So I've actually been using this intermittently as well. I know that this one works really well with primer surfacer from Sherwin-Williams, the stuff that I use here. I know that this stuff works really well with the fast dry vinyl sealer that I use. However, this door doesn't have either. This door actually has the Hi-Bild Precat as a self seal on it. So I'm going to see which one of these work first. The actual Granat paper from Festool is actually cheaper than the Indasa Rhino Soft. So I'm actually going to try the Granat here and see what it does. I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but this Precat's not really powdering up that much. It's actually just slicking up. There's a little bit of powder here, but you know, if you think about it being a finish, you don't want something that really chalks up too easy. Everybody might remember the consumer finish out there. It used to be called Deft. It was a brushable lacquer, or brushing lacquer, and that stuff would chalk up extremely white. And it was really easy to spray, but just didn't really have the durability there. And I think a lot of even professional finishers used to use it because it was really easy to repair and it was easy to spray. You could do a lot of different things with it. But I've been hearing through some of Charles Neal's from Charles Neal Woodworking on some of his last videos he's posted on YouTube, that the stuff is getting hard to find. So, okay, so as you can see, definitely chalked up. Got a little bit of yellow coming through, and that is actually pretty normal. That is from the dye stain. So, do the front. I'm going to try the Indasa on the front. Again, this is both 320. Here I'm just using some synthetic pad. This is actually, I don't know what brand this was. This could be the Merca brand. It's the same thing as the 3M Maroon and some of the other ones. But these don't burn through the profile near as quick, but it still gives the surface a nice scuff. Okay, we are ready for our second coat of finish. We're going to do the back first, wait for it to dry, and then do it to the front. Okay, so we're back in the shop here. I flipped the door over. This is the front side. Now I'm going to give this a quick coat of the Hi-Bild Precat. Before I do, I'm just going to dust it off again. Okay, so I'm going to give this one coat on the front here, and this actually door will be done. Actually using the Sherwood Hi-Bild Precat as a cell seal, if I mentioned it earlier, but that's what I'm using here. And I'm doing that because I'm after a little bit more of a higher gloss. Not necessarily after the build, but I'm more so concerned about the sheen level of the sample piece, or the sample door I got, the replacement door actually. Has a bit more, probably like a 40 to 50 degree sheen, versus the medium rumble effect that I always use is around that 30 to 35. You know, it's probably being a little bit nitpicky, but I'm trying to do the best I can with this replacement. So I'm using the actual 411 tip, trying something different. Normally I use a 515 or a 615. at around 550, 600 pounds fluid. But I'm actually trying a smaller tip with a little bit more fluid pressure and a little bit less air pressure to see if I actually get smaller droplets and maybe get a little bit better of a hand on the finish. So it's just something I'm trying. Alright, so I'll let this dry for a couple hours and it'll be ready for install tomorrow. So I actually contacted the customer and let them know that I was planning on delivering tomorrow. It works well for them, so we'll see what it looks like when it's all done. But for the most part, this is probably the end of the video. Maybe there's something at the very end talking about it, but other than that, this is the end of the finishing part of it. Okay, so one of the tips I wanted to share with you, and I actually have a separate video on kind of soaking tips and solvents, but this is kind of a quick one here. When I'm done with the tip and air cap, what I like to do is I actually like to take the tip out of the air cap so it's separate. Then I actually have just a dip can here with some Frito-Lay's mild cheddar cheese sauce, and this can is actually lined. I think it's a very similar lining to what's used in a paint can, but as you can see here, I've already got an air cap and a couple tips in there for the sealer gun. So what I like to do is basically set the CA Technologies air cap as 2 parts, and I just like to set this in the solvent, and then I like to take the tip. Rather than have the tip so that the orifice is pointing down, I like to lay it on its side at the minimum. And what that does is it does not allow any particulate to really fall into the backside of the tip. Will actually cause a premature plug. So there's nothing more frustrating in the middle of spraying something in your tip plug. So that's how I store my tips. Solvent I'm using here is just cheap old lacquer thinner, nothing special. You could use acetone, lacquer thinner. If you really wanted to use MEK, if you wanted to, xylene would probably work. If you're using any type of a solvent-borne coating, any one of those stronger solvents will work. If you're using waterborne, when I store my waterborne tip and air cap for my other Kremlin setup, I actually use a 50-50 mix of water and isopropyl alcohol. So, alright, just thought I'd share it with you, and hopefully you guys found it useful.